and I will call the special city council meeting of the governing body order. We're going to establish a forum. Mayor Candy Cargill is present. Mayor Pro Tem Dennis J. Moore is absent. Councilmember Bobby McClung.
Present.
Councilmember Rodney Grosfield.
Present.
Councilmember Davey Barron Jr.
Present.
Councilmember Ron Moses.
Present.
One. If you would stand and bow your heads, we will have a prayer and then go back into the pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we come together this day with grateful hearts in the spirit of Easter, a time of renewal, hope, and new beginnings. As we gather for this special meeting, guide our thoughts, our words, and our decisions. Grant us wisdom to serve with integrity, courage to do what is right, and humility to listen to one another. Help us to work together for the good of our community, with unity, respect, and purpose. May this season remind us that even in challenges, there is always promise of renewal and brighter days ahead. We ask your blessing on this meeting and for all those who serve. Amen.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Flag, I pledge allegiance to the United States, one day, under God, one and indivisible.
Let's do Stephanie Wright.
Well, thank you. This is
Your citizen.
I'm a citizen. I'm not here. I'm covering this meeting for the paper, but my comments are as a citizen of the county. I don't live in the city limits. I'm curious to know why there are two items, and specifically items related to economic development, wholly in executive session this meeting. In the time that I've been coming to meetings, usually there's a public presentation or there's a portion of the meeting that is before the public and available for people to sort of hear information and gather information. I don't recall seeing an agenda like this where everything is in executive session. So I'm curious as a citizen what is being discussed. I'm naturally nosy, so I'll be very interested in knowing what you all talk about when you're ready and able to present it to the public. So I thank you for the opportunity to address you, Madam Mayor and council members. Thank you so much.
And Ken Welch.
I've had most of you that like to be among the city council. So if that's the case, you know, there's transparency and open governance is kind of my opinion.
I was trying to get your handwriting.
Yes. I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I'm saying here. I do not want to violate the Open Meetings Act. But the Open Meetings Act, Public Information Act, were both put in place by the state to make information available to the public, to let the public participate, and be able to comment on items. And right now, I have to say it because I don't know what I'm supporting or what I'm against. I don't know what the issue is. The term economic development can mean so much to so many different people. I find that far too vague for an agenda, and my comments to come before get to the issue anyway. So I don't have a clue what you're going to talk about. There lies the problem. I would urge this body to look at your agenda, look at your announcements of executive session. Try to be clearer when you put these out. I know you have to respect privacy and confidentiality of whatever it is you're dealing with. Whatever the category is. But you don't have to restrict yourself to just the language it says. You can go beyond that without spilling the beans on the confidentiality. So that's the amazing that is. You can do better with your agendas.
And now we're going to last announcement and we with our item two, we can do that.
Yeah, let me, first of all, one announcement, one has to be city administrator, one announcement, office is closed tomorrow's holiday, so, it's just that.
Did everybody get their warnings today? I did.
So I think we're gonna do.
Yeah.
How we're gonna change a little bit, since this was mentioned, we're gonna change a little bit of the program. I know what normally happens when there's a training economic development project, in different towns and different places, it is normal to have the session so that the council has an opportunity to review it and really get the understanding. And then obviously everything always goes to the public because the public is hearing this decision. But having heard that, having talked to people that come to see me, I understand that there is some confusion and there's also wanting to know at least a little bit of what council is going to do. So the process tonight is Lacey is here with her team, and she's going to represent Plainville and the project that they're looking at. She's going to introduce her team. She'll go through some slide decks, which will go to the public. And then after that, if the mayor wants to, we can go back to executive session and go through some more. So I think that is going to be kind of how we proceed tonight. So the first 15, 20 minutes of this session will be in public. Want to respect their privacy as they're putting together a deal. Possibly if the city, the first step will be, is the city interested? No. Teaching to see what the opportunity is.
Because I can tell you this body knows about as much as she can.
That, I really don't know that much.
Yeah.
So, Lacey, what want to kind of
I was gonna say,
come on?
and for the love of Blanco, we're really glad to welcome Lacey and her team to share a bit about their exciting business, Plainville. In a world where everything seems to be filtered through social media, it's a treat to have it straight from the horse's mouth. So thank you for being here. Share as much or as little as you feel comfortable with today. We completely understand some things may need to stay under wraps for now. I'm sure council will have some questions. We always do, believe me. And if we need to, we can step into executive session to respect any confidentiality. But just so everyone is clear, no action will be taken today. This is simply a conversation. This is a meeting. I've never met Lacey before in my life. This is a meeting and enlightening for all of us, and possibly an invitation to come back for a full council, and even another invitation for the new council. So, because this is Blanco, we don't do anything just real fast.
Thank you, Mayor Cargill. I appreciate it. And thank you for the council for allowing me time to speak and present today. I appreciate all of y'all's time. I have actually been in Blanco for 5 years. This is not a new business. It will be a new business within the city limits. This business started here in Blanco. Not only this business, but I, along with friends, purchased another business, which is the heart of most of the hospitality that we share, which is the hotel north of town, Blanco River Hotel. I'm from a small town in Mississippi Delta, and of 262 people. I was born and raised in a place that I got stripped finding opportunity by NAFTA, and we have constantly been trying to rebuild our economy back. And I've been fascinated with manufacturing, which you'll hear a little bit about after I introduce my team.
from when I was a very young child. But again, this business is not new to Blanco. We reconceptualized this. We also have met with various other municipalities across the Texas Triangle, and all roads led back here. Hopefully with the opportunity to work with you all to keep Plainville here. So with that, I'd really like to introduce my team, because this is just a small part of the overall team. We've got 250 years combined experience in everyone's specialty, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's tax advisory, sales. Again, a few of which could be here today. I've got Kent McCoy, who's been my broker and really navigated us through all four corners of the world of Texas. I've got Michael Camden, who's with Ryan Advisors. He is my tax advisor. I've got Zach Robinson. He's my head of financial operations. And probably the most important person whom I started a business with 10 years ago before Plainville is Greg Carmack. He is the best boot maker in the world, but also someone that vendor boots. He's someone that I hope to bring to the dark side of metals manufacturing, so to speak. Those that are not here with us are my head of logistics, wartime wounded veteran Sherry Hines. She spent 20 years over all logistics for the Army Airborne, and after that, she's been in construction for another 25. Ben Gez, my head of sales, has been the head of sales of a very large investment bank-backed organization in Austin. He too has spent 15 years in his field. He's the best what he does. And Carl Eberly, he's going to be our head of manufacturing. Carl was the head of manufacturing for Harley Davidson worldwide. We come with a really strong team, none of whom are wasting their time on a project that we don't fully see to fruition. We hope it's here. So that, again, is 250 years of combined experience. My career has been fluid. I've had the opportunity to live a lot of different places. I chose Blanco as home because when I'm thinking about where I feel most comfortable and where I want to start a business and live a life, it's not in the bigger cities that I've lived in before. It's something that looks familiar again and reminds me of home. And that Blanco serves that very well. The first time that I came over to buy a pass on 165, and haven't moved back since. In 2021, we started Plainville. We located in Blanco right off the bat. Additionally, I purchased the other business, which I mentioned before. We are one of the largest taxpayers in the county. We're also highly aware of things like water usage, and those bills come straight to me, so I'm familiar on how important it is to keep them low. While evaluating where I could scale Plainville and how, and to create the product and manufacturing at the scale that I wanted to, I began to build the world-class team that you see behind me and those that cannot make it or could not make it. And throughout that evaluation, we've met with many municipalities, like I mentioned, some large, some small. I discovered how impactful this project could be to the right community, such as the one that I grew up in, specifically the amount of tax revenue we will produce, as well as over 200 direct jobs and probably twice that in indirect and construction jobs. I was thrilled to learn that our lender valued Blanco just as much as we did, and the land that was available for our needs was also on market. This all being said, the reason we have so many wonderful consultants, advisors, and team members involved is because there is a lot of momentum. However, there's a deadline, a federal deadline in September, which we have to follow in order to get the funding that we need for this project. It is American first. It does have to do specifically with manufacturing, and that is why this has transpired so quickly. We've spoken about the direct and indirect impact of jobs and taxes. We estimate this. Go ahead.
Is this okay, or do you want the next?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We estimate this direct impact to be anywhere from $50 to $100 million. We are asking for the consideration of that money to be not only put back towards the project, but create the infrastructure that we will then have to feed off of to operate the way we need to. whether that be in the county or direct city limits, we look to be annexed. So the first couple of segments of this market we look to serve are multifamily. So when you're looking at apartment complexes, there's about a mile of railing, if not more or less, and about a half mile of stair systems. That's all metal. Generally speaking, anywhere from 5 to 8% of the total construction cost is in what we call miscellaneous metals packages. In a data center, you can see up to 75% of metals packages. We are not a data center. We are not a large water user. We are also going to be self-sufficient when it comes to power. We are going to have our own solar. That should be more than enough to power the entire facility, which will be a 250,000 square foot footprint. And if you want to, and if anybody has any questions, we can take it offline and more about our product and processes. So like I said, the direct jobs, we will not wait to make a community impact. We are facilitating and establishing scholarship programs for Blanco ISD students immediately. We look to keep these students and residents of Blanco in the community. They will be priority hires. Our median compensation by year 3 is $125,000. That does not include full benefits. We do look forward to, with that tax impact, to subsidize any kind of utility infrastructure that we may need, not including our own, but also that of the community. The stronger tax base will obviously give Blanco a lot of power in protecting or expanding at its own pace versus on a forced pace of someone that may not be from this community. We will also add an additional 5 million gallons of water back to the community annually. We will reduce water and tax, specifically ad valorem rates, because we are coming online, and we will add so much to the tax roll that's not already here, because this land will need to be annexed. Like I said before, these will be solar powered operations. I touched on the experience we have, and we are local, female, and disabled, veteran owned. Warren, if you will. Thank you. We are not talking about a small tilt up run-of-the-mill industrial facility. We're talking about a world-class subsidized cafeteria for our staff, as well as a gym, locker rooms. This should be best in class as far as manufacturing is concerned, specifically in this area. The equipment alone that we have budgeted in phase 1 is over $40 million. So that's not including the structure itself. And I think that's all I've got. Thank y'all for y'all's attention. I appreciate it.
Any questions? Sure we do.
Don't.
You don't?
Let me ask a few questions of Lacey for the public, because I think there's a couple things that weren't, and these are going to be pretty easy questions. First of all, Lacey, you said 250,000 square feet footprint. If you can, what is the total acreage that you're looking at in your first phase, and where in town or not in town are we talking about?
So we are looking at the acreage on 32 and 281 south of town. We're also evaluating another tract of land north of town. We are looking to start with 100 acres, but we will be closing on all 260 acres as we need a lot of room for these components. We need a large yard. That's just what it takes.
I think she's talking about the old Durham range. Right?
Yes.
Now, out of the, how many jobs are you saying you're bringing?
200 direct jobs.
But, well, my question is, out of the 200 jobs, how much is that going to be skilled? And when I mean skilled, high school, local country, pumpkin folk,
50%.
like myself.
50%. And we we look to work with ACC. We've talked to them and other municipalities about bringing a training program in to increase that number drastically, because there's no reason that with the training program, we wouldn't be able to train more machinists, manufacturing specialists.
In-house.
Yes.
But starting like low man on total pole, go-getters, cleaners for welding, you know, grinding, pipe fitting, stuff like that.
We have that closer to 75%.
But I mean, low skilled-ish. I'm not talking about college degree or I'm gonna run a CNC plasma cutter or a CNC, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. But I mean, it doesn't take long to learn that.
Oh,
Those
yes, ma'am.
skills. So,
Beautiful place for a yard. Beautiful.
we don't
place
need,
for a
we
yard.
don't need it all, but we don't get the, obviously, we don't get the choice of how much we purchase.
You mentioned that, ACC cooperation, you know, I'm gonna refer to a letter that, Mr. Camden sent to administration on the 19th of February. It's like a list of Santa Claus, but one of them was that we paid for that, as I recall. True.
Through a TERS and a 380, those are the taxes that we pay
Didn't say
directly to
that
the city.
specifically, but
Yeah, that's a TERS and a 380 structure.
right.
Those are taxes that we would pay into that
So
TERS.
there is a lot about increasing the tax base, but it wouldn't be for 20 years, is that right?
No, that's,
Reference the law. I just personally, I guess I gotta put my cards on the table like I usually do. Don't see anything. If I go just by the letter that Mr. Camden wrote to administration, just don't see anything here for Blanco. Yes, 200 skilled jobs that I assume will be people commuting into town.
so we're gathering or collecting $1 million with it, whether it's ad valorem. Say there's a need south of town for utility infrastructure. We're not going to use 100% of that. However, that TERS will allow us to set up a fund, so to speak, to offset what the community impact would be. So we would be including that into our TERS package. And we're never going to take 100% of sales tax, which, I mean, all of
I think
our,
that's what it was. I think the sales tax is abated for 20 years. Is that correct?
not fully.
Not fully, but that is what the letters, it didn't, I don't think it's mentioned fully.
It's not abated, it's actually a rebate. So all of this is going to be performance-based. So if we don't perform, if we don't deliver the jobs, if we don't deliver the nice big building that y'all are gonna be collecting taxes and the real property, then we don't get that rebate. It stays within the city. So we'll have very strict metrics on which we need to perform in order to receive that rebate.
It's just, this is a very big ask for an unknown. Pardon me, I don't know you, and I've never heard of Blanco until a few weeks ago, months ago.
Yeah, it's also taxes that y'all aren't currently collecting in town. So we would be asking for that annexation to come within the city limits, so you all will be receiving those taxes.
Right, which will necessitate quite a bit more infrastructure.
Yes.
So if I can add as well, when we start going through this process, if the council decides they want to go through this process, the TERS, the amount of abatement you're talking about, those are all things that are negotiable. So, you know, there may be a wish list that someone wants 100% the first 4 years and 90% the next 15 years or whatever those are. The city may say, well, we just want an abatement of 80% in the first year, maybe it goes down. So it's a negotiation, it's a partnership if this is something that the city wants. Again, this is what this conversation, this first conversation is about. Last major project we had, it took us 2 or 3 meetings even to get
Oh, yeah.
close to, so there's gonna be some time taken to do this. I understand that there's some constraints, but there are some constraints on our side too.
Yeah, I think we can get it done by September.
We have to get underwriting done.
I like that.
That's your timeline, that's not our timeline.
Yeah.
Well, it's a federal. That's not,
That's your issue, not ours.
Not really comfortable with that. I'm kind of a water number. How are you getting us adding 5 million gallons back?
one of the pieces of structure that we'll need is an above ground tank. We'll have an 8 acre tank, in-ground tank, that will facilitate over 25 million gallons. And additional
What?
water,
Between where, from where?
rainwater, excuse me, rainwater. And another 4.5 to 5 million gallons from rooftop collection.
And what about, AC, condensation?
Haven't considered that, but I'm sure more architects on top of it.
Okay, that, I was just, I kind of went through.
But we need 2.5 million in the first year. And we don't foresee us being a large water user because we'll be recycling about 65% of our water on an ongoing basis.
So you might be able to port the pipe yourself. That's my. Anything?
Definitely some time to process.
Yeah, any process,
And, Warren, to what you said, everything's negotiation. Just for me, what I read in that letter from Mr. Camden, not a place I would start from in a negotiation.
So I'm not the developer.
I know.
I work for the council, I work for the citizens.
I appreciate it.
So we facilitate this, for the community that they wanted to hear a little bit, so we've heard a little bit. Obviously, not enough for you to even start knowing what you don't know, so this would either be the time that the mayor would invite them back, or would schedule another meeting, but it's totally up to the mayor what she wants to do with the council.
do you have any more presentations of this?
Yes,
I
we're,
mean, I don't think that isn't confidential.
no, this is,
I mean, I didn't know if you had like pictures of the products or. Any ratings, stuff like that.
Mayor, I have a question, maybe we'll get an opportunity to answer some more detailed questions. Not that we're gonna be finalizing negotiations, but I think there's more that we could learn from these folks while they're here at this meeting. That we could in such an agenda. I hope that we give them that opportunity.
And now, then,
Take a little
okay.
deeper dive.
if we do a little deeper dive today, we could come back again
yes, of course.
and do maybe a large presentation, because I think, we're dealing with Blanco, and you're gonna be wanting to annex into Blanco. So the citizens of Blanco, I think, need to.
Yes,
And what we're doing, I mean, what we're doing with their money, right?
That's fine.
Okay. So, if you think we can.
Madam Mayor?
What?
I'm gonna respectfully abstain from the executive session that deals with this. I have nothing else to add right now.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
You're gonna stay here,
Stay here.
because we're gonna, and
That's right.
like I said,
That's right.
nothing is being settled today. Because I think they probably have some numbers. We will go run into executive session